welcome to the 5th episode of the Dark Coders. Today I'm going to be showing about statements. Okay. So, statements. In statement, there are 4 kinds of statement. Let me just show you a basic kind of statement, okay? For example, I have to print out for like I have lots of programming here going on, and then now a lot of statement. Now in a statement I have to print out 1 to 10 a lot of times. So what do I have to do? I have to do like this: for I less than equal to 10, I plus plus, and then I have to write print f and then %d comma I, yeah, for all the time. And then I have to, let's say, another some more statement here, and there's some algorithms, and then I have to again print 1 to 10, again some other statement, I have to print 1 to 10 again. So this is again DRY, do not repeat yourself in coding. So now instead of writing this a lot of time, okay, I'm going to call a function, another function, to do it for me. For example, let me just delete them. Okay, now let's say I'm gonna call the function, okay, this is the parameter, what do you call it, the way you're supposed to write it, okay, this like that, int, because okay, I'm gonna return, or I'm not gonna return this time, but anyway, okay, this is just an example. Okay, I'm gonna show you the 4 types, but this is just a sample. For first of all, int, okay, or I'm gonna put void because I'm not gonna return anything. Okay, I'm gonna first name the function, which let's say call it as print function, printing function. Okay, so in here I have to put something inside. Okay, in here I'm not gonna put something inside because I don't have to, I'm basically printing the stuff, right? Okay, so I am going to copy this. Okay, it's up to you actually where you want to write the function stuff inside. Like I can paste this and then start writing from here all stuff of the coding, or I can just close that and start writing here all the statements if I want to. But it is a good habit to declare the function in the beginning, so that you know when you start a project, then you will see all the function at the top, all the names and what does it do. Okay, the names actually, not what does it do. Okay, so then you can come down and see what is happening. Anyway, so void printf, printing, that's the name of the function. Now what I'm gonna do is imagine this as second battleground. Okay, first is int main, this is where the computer compiler is going to read, but this one only when it is called in the int main, only then the compiler is going to go to this function. Okay, so let's start. Int I, just same thing like int main. Now I'm gonna do what? Okay, instead of doing that, I'm just gonna control V. Okay, that didn't work. I'm just gonna copy this thing and then I'm gonna print it right here. Okay, that did not, I forgot to press Ctrl C. Okay, you know what, just write it down. For I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. Now print the percentage d slash n, okay, I. Okay, so basically what they're going to do is the compiler is first going to read int main, whatever happens in int main. Okay, so now I'm gonna read printf, let's say I am gonna call the function, the printing function. Okay, slash n, it goes to the next line. Okay, now how am I supposed to call it? Yeah, this is how I'm supposed to call it. If the thing is in void, okay, that is the first function that I'm going to tell you guys. Okay, so if it is in void, that means I have to just, there's no return value or there's no argument, like I'm not passing any value to the state function. So basically I just have to write the name of the function. So printing, see, there you go, there's one, printing void. So if I put this, so that's how the compiler gonna read printf. I am gonna call the function, they're gonna read this, then printing, it will go to this function, and then it's gonna read all of this, and then finally it will come back to the main function. And in the main function, I'm gonna say reading from the function is done /n/m. Okay, so that's how F9, that's what happens. Okay, it's kind of being slow, I have no idea why. Okay, I am gonna call the function. Yep, here you go. First it read this statement, then it went to printing, means basically here, and then reading from, and then after printing 1 to 10, it went back and read number 8 line, which is read from the function is done. Okay, so you got the basic idea, right? So now I can actually write this down a lot of time, like printing. There you go. And then after again get the statement, I'm gonna write printing again. Okay, and then again I have to, all this. So basically I just have to write the code one time and then copy paste it, the name of the thing, not like entirely copying this whole for loop, because sometimes if you get a mistake in the for loop, then you actually have to change the for loop over and over again. So that's a very, very bad way of coding. Anyway, so now 4 types of function. Right, let me go to Notepad. Okay, number 1 type is going to be a function that has no argument and has no return value. I'm gonna tell you guys what are these in a coming while. Number 2 is going to give me argument and no return value. No return value. Okay, number 3 is going to give me argument and number 3 is going to give me argument and it's going to give me with return value. With return value. Okay, number 4 finally is going to give me no argument and with return value. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Okay, first I am going to delete up till here int main. Okay, int main main. Awesome. Okay, so first one is no argument, no return value. What is argument and what is return value? Okay, let's just use that part. Okay, so argument basically means that what I am going to send to the function. Basically this is an example of no argument and no return value. In other words, when I'm saying printing, I am not asking them to give, I'm not actually giving any variable or any integer to the function, yeah, because it's a no return value means I'm not returning something to the main function. Basically I'm just printing it, so it is nothing. There's no argument, there's no return value. Basically I'm just calling the function, I'm just telling this function is doing whatever it is inside it. It's not giving me anything, I'm not giving the function anything, I'm just printing out its name. That's number 1, very simple. Number 2, argument and no return value. Okay, for argument, in other words, means I'm gonna pass something inside. Okay, let's say I don't want to type 1 to 10. I want to decide where to start and I want to decide where to end. Okay, so I'm gonna pass, let's say I'm gonna declare another value, int start is equal to, I want to decide where to start. Let's say I want to decide 2 and I want to end at let's say 7. Okay, now what I'm going to do is pass the argument to them. So how am I supposed to pass the argument? First I'm going to pass them start and then I'm going to pass them end. Okay, so in here when it goes, it automatically gets it that I have to get the start first. So like first I wrote start right at the beginning, so it automatically comes at the beginning. So I can put any value like I, and it will do the same value as start. It will contain the same value as start because I passed it in the argument. But just not to make mistake or not to get confused, I'm gonna write start instead. int end. Okay, so int start, int end. Now what I'm gonna do is that I is equal to, I'm gonna start it with the start value that I put, and I'm gonna end it with the end value that I put. So if I say from 2 to 7, so this one becomes 2, that becomes 7. In other words, this becomes 2 and that becomes 7. So it's gonna start the loop with 2 and gonna print it until end, which is 7. Let's try F9. Okay, a bit slow. Yep, there you go. I'm gonna call the function, there you go, and then start to it. I passed that argument inside there. Now the printing came from 2 to 7 only. So in other words, I'm passing argument and I'm not asking anything for return. So basically it just prints the stuff. Okay, that's that. And then when 2 is done. Number 3, argument with return value. Now this void is gonna come into action. Okay, first of all, first I pass the argument. Yes, that's true. Now I'm gonna do is return something. Okay, when I want to return, okay, let's do an algorithm already. Let's do odd even algorithm. Okay, it's gonna be very easy and you'll get the idea of the argument with return value, because this one is really important. Okay, so let's start with this. How am I supposed to start? Okay, so first I'm gonna take a value. Okay, first I have to declare sometime a variable, right? int number. Okay, number, where you go, m. Oh my god. Okay, now I'm gonna scanf that thing. Okay, scanf %d. Oh, by the way, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna check if a number is an odd number or an even number by argument with return value. So let's recap a bit. What's an odd number? What's an even number? An odd number is any number that is if the remainder of 2, that is the remainder, okay, modulus means if I mod 2, so it's gonna give me 1. That's an odd number. In other words, if I divide it by 5 divided by 2, the remainder is going to be 1. Simple. If I divide 2 divided by 2 or 2 mod 2, that is the remainder. 2 mod 2, that's going to give me 0. There's no remainder for 2 divided by 2. Simple basic math. Okay, so that's how I'm going to check if it is an odd number or if it's an even number. Okay, here we go. Scanf %g ampersand number. So basically I took the number. Now what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to pass the 2 into the function. Yeah, that is known as argument. So I'm going to do is that pass the value. Before that, now there's going to be a return value, right? So they're going to return to me if the value is true, is it odd or not odd. Okay, how am I supposed to do that? Okay, I'm gonna put another value, flag. Now I'm gonna say flag is equal to I'm gonna call the function printing. Okay, then I am going to pass the parameter number. Okay, now what am I gonna do? First let's just recap a bit. Flag, I'm gonna call the function and I'm gonna put the parameters number, or known as argument, and then it's gonna go to the printing. Now it is going to get the number. Okay, the thing is I have to change this algorithm too. Now in here I have to set the algorithm. Okay, what's the algorithm again? Number if it is divided by 2. Okay, if it is divided by 2, now if the mod 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so in other words I have to say if function number mod 2 is equal to 0, then I have to return. Here you go, return comes in. return, then I have to return what? I have to return any number. I want to return that number, right? Number. Okay, or I just want to return 1. How's that? Okay, and then if not, else I want to return 0. Return 0. Boolean number, by the way. Now I'm returning what? Integer, 1 0 integer, right? I'm not sorting here. I have to change this into int. Here you go, and don't forget to change that to int. Okay, so basically now I am returning something. So I'm not returning void, I'm returning something. So that's why it's int. Okay, so basically what it does is that I pass the number, then they check the number. If it is mod 2, then they is equal to 0, then they return 1, or they return 0. So now the 1 or 0 is going to be flag. So now let's say I'm gonna put another parameter, another if condition. If flag is equal to 1, then I'm going to printf odd. Wait a second, even. Awesome. Can't I spell even already? Oh my god, /n. And then if it is not, basically else, it's going to give me printf odd /n. Basically that's it. Okay, looking good. One more thing. If flag is equal to 1, return is equal to 1, flag is equal to 1, if I don't write it, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, because in Boolean, remember in the last class, I told you guys that if flag any value except 0, it's going to count as true. Okay, so now F9. Oopsie, something is wrong. What is wrong? Click this 2 times. It's going to tell me number is undeclared. Basically, I'm not allowed to put that in. And then F9 again. Here you go, it worked. Okay. By the way, you know why is it not working? Oh yeah, it's working. I'm gonna call the function. Now they want to ask that scanf, what number am I gonna put? Let's say I'm gonna put 5, and it gave me odd. Okay, now F9. Let me put 2. And then it's given even. Yep, works. Cool. So number 3 is done. Argument with return value. Now no argument with return value. It means that I'm not gonna pass anything inside it. Okay, like in here I passed the number, right? So in here I'm not gonna pass anything inside it. So but it's gonna give me a return value. Okay, now this is a great example of number 4, no argument with return value. So in here I'm doing this, is that okay, this is an argument, this is a function calling statement, so I'm not going to pass any argument. In other words, this is blank. Okay, and then I'm going to call that int is equal to 3, number is equal to 3, then I'm going to return this number value. So I'm going to return number, so basically that is integer, and then which is going to store in the flag, and then I'm going to print a flag. So basically what I'm going to do is print number 3. F9. And then here you go, number 3 came in. That's it for the function. And this is the 4 function, so that's it, get used to it. But number 3 is very important, which is argument with return. In other words, I'm going to put the argument and then it's going to give me a return value. That is kind of very important in competitive programming. Okay, thank you guys. So I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.